the superlative. With a huge shot!
The fighters you see beating the hell out of each other aren't just performing to entertain you, they're putting their life at risk for glory in your leisure. Many of them have suffered an unimaginable amount of pain and have also seen death right in front of their eyes. From broken arms to in-ring cardiac arrests, the MMA ring has seen many terrifying incidents, and in today's video, we'll walk you through them to help you realize how dangerous and life-threatening this sport can get. Here are the 10 most devastating MMA moments ever. Number 10. The rib-crashing knee. Cal Worsham's name may not ring a bell for modern fans, but his fight against Zach Frazier was a near-death experience. After eating a massive knee to the body from his much larger opponent, Worsham incredibly kept his composure. Little did anyone know, that strike had shattered his ribs, collapsed a lung, and caused damage to his heart.
Against Zane Frazier back in 1985.
Yes, he did, and lived to tell about it.
Somehow, someway, Worsham dug deeper than humanly possible, taking down and stopping Frazier by TKO in the opening 3 minutes.
It seemed as though because Frazier went after him, Worsham was the guy that just kind of stayed away, out of reach, until the distance was close to where he went ahead and came in after him.
And Big John McCarthy steps in and stops it.
Had he absorbed another shot to the chest area, this potentially life-threatening situation could have turned into a tragedy. Number 9. A potentially fatal headshot. Evangelista Cyborg Santos had already gifted his infamous nickname to his ex-wife Chris Justino when he faced Michael Venom Page in a 2018 Bellator bout. But it was Page's flying knee that nearly killed the Brazilian legend.
Just about everything you need in a fight, you lose off the liver shot. It can come back.
Cyborg runs into the jump knee, and it's over.
The strike caved in Santos' skull with sickening impact. A true 1 in a million occurrence that could have easily cost Cyborg his life if not for a bit of luck. It ended his MMA career on the spot and served as a harsh reminder of just how dangerous even a single strike can be in this arena. Number 8. Disastrous weight cut. Heading into his fight with Cody Durden earlier this year, Jake Hadley was carrying a 2-fight win streak. However, he later admitted that a botched weight cut nearly killed him, stating, "I almost died trying to make weight. I saw God for a moment." The effects were so severe that Hadley says he was unable to properly step on the gas come fight night. A frightening thought considering a diminished performance could open the door to receiving punishing blows. Hadley made it to the octagon that night, but just barely. Eventually, Hadley lost to Durden, but in our opinion, he shouldn't have shown up to the fight.
Durden trying to get the crowd going late in the fight, and a tremendous response by Durden after those moments.
Number 7. A frightening life-death scenario. The next incident comes from former featherweight title challenger Charles Oliveira's ill-fated showdown with Max Holloway. In one of the early exchanges, Oliveira suddenly crumpled to the ground, clutching at his neck area.
An injury. The doctor is attending to Charles Oliveira. Oliveira looks like he's holding on to his play. As classy as they come, went over to check.
At the time, it seemed a simple injury had prevented a fair fight. However, it was later revealed that Oliveira had suffered a freak torn esophagus, an injury that could have allowed fluid to leak into his lungs, potentially drowning him from the inside out. Thankfully, the bout was waved off instantly and Oliveira was able to get immediate medical care. But the situation underscores how even a routine exchange can result in a life or death scenario. Number 6. Sparring went wrong. Rising UFC welterweight contender Bryan Barberena seemingly escaped a hard sparring session unscathed, leading up to a big fight. It wasn't until later that day that an odd, fuzzy feeling overcame him, followed by excruciating abdominal pains and a loss of consciousness. Barberena had ruptured 2 arteries and was quite literally bleeding out internally. By his admission, he narrowly avoided death when doctors were able to drain 4 liters of pooled blood from his abdomen and provide an emergency transfusion. Here's what he said in an interview with Chris Weidman.
And luckily there was this nurse right there, and she's like, "He doesn't look so good." And then the other nurse looks, she's like, "Oh my gosh, take him back right away." So they wheeled me back right away. The doctor comes right in my face. "What's going on?" I'm like, "I took a body shot earlier. I think maybe I ruptured something. I don't know what's going on." They freaking lift me up on that table. They cut my shirt off, ultrasound machine, call trauma code, we're going to emergency surgery. I'm like, call my wife. She doesn't know where I'm at. Call my wife right now. He's like, we'll call her as soon as you go in. I said, no, you need to call her right now in front of me. She has no idea where I'm at. She's on her way. She's 2 hours away driving. No idea where I'm at. So he calls right in front of me and tells us, like, yeah, he's going to emergency surgery. Get here as fast as you can. This is where we're at. So I go into emergency surgery, and they put the dang mask on me to breathe in to put me out. Man, I thought they were going to start cutting into me before that happened, before I went out. They're like, get the knives, get everything. And I'm like, breathe in as much as you can. I'm like, trying to get this thing rolling. And they're like, get the knives, we're going to start. And I was like, hey, I'm not asleep. No, I'm not asleep. I'm like, don't you start on me. I'm not asleep. They're just, it's okay. Just breathe. Just take deep breaths. I'm taking like the deepest breaths I've ever taken. Nothing's happening. I'm like, I can't, like, I'm still awake. Don't you start. And then all of a sudden he was like, I'm gone. So.
Oh my gosh, bro.
If those same injuries occurred in the heat of an actual bout with no medical staff available, the results could have been catastrophic. Number 5. Khabib's near-death weight-cutting experience. Khabib Nurmagomedov is widely considered the greatest lightweight in MMA history, but even he wasn't immune to the inherent risks of the sport. Before his scheduled fight with Tony Ferguson at UFC 209, a severely dehydrated Nurmagomedov was hospitalized just 24 hours before weigh-ins with stomach pain so severe that doctors outright told him he had nearly died making that final weight cut. Here's the statement from UFC. While we never got to see the hugely anticipated matchup with Ferguson, Khabib did learn a harsh lesson about better monitoring his weight, a mistake that could have cost him far more than just a lost paycheck. Number 4. A near-fatal rare choke. Chad George very well may have saved his opponent's life with his keen awareness and humility after attempting a rare Von Flue choke on Marcus Vorhees. When the referee inexplicably failed to see that Vorhees was completely unconscious, George showed tremendous restraint, standing up and yelling at the official until the fight was mercifully waved off.
George just tenaciously holding on to a guillotine position, even though George is in side control.
Yeah, but he could be trapping that hand with his left arm. I can't see from this position here if he can pull the right arm out at all.
Now George has his head free.
No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's out.
George got caught on the Von Flue choke.
If George was a lesser man with a bigger ego, his defenseless opponent could have been deprived of oxygen for a prolonged and potentially fatal period. It's one of the most sportsmanlike acts you'll ever see in MMA. Number 3. Another weight-cutting disaster. Former UFC middleweight champion Robert Whittaker is one fighter who knows those risks of weight-cutting all too well. Just hours before his scheduled title defense against Kelvin Gastelum, Whittaker was forced to withdraw after being rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery on a collapsed bowel and intestinal hernia. Here's how he described his frighteningly extreme weight-cutting journey.
Weeks out from the fight, I was so stressed out about the weight cut that I almost called up Joe at the time and said, I can't do this, like, this is terrible. And I ended up getting to the fight. The weight cut, I did 7.5 kilos morning of, and yeah, that was yeah. I just I slapped on the Abilene cream. I put a sweatsuit on. I jumped in the sauna and I stayed there. And the whole process took 4 hours. So I did that. That was terrible. So after that fight, for my own health, because my wife, she said, you can't look the way you did, because I was a mess that night. So that was the moment of truth that I either had to move up or quit the sport.
Had he attempted to fight in that compromised condition and taken a heavy blow to the midsection, the consequences could have proven fatal. It's terrifying examples like this that highlight the importance of comprehensive medical screenings. Number 2. Mid-fight cardiac arrest. In one of the most disturbing moments in combat sports history, Kimbo Slice vs. Data 5000 was a grotesque spectacle from the opening bell. To call the bout between the two grossly out-of-shape street fighters an unqualified freak show would be an understatement. After 3 rounds of flailing punches devoid of technique, Dada 5000 collapsed from sheer exhaustion, with Kimbo being declared the winner by TKO.
He can't get his hands up anymore. Kimbo gets out of his way, he's gonna fall. Dada has no idea where he is.
However, it was what happened next that truly demonstrated how thin the line is between sport and potential tragedy. Dada went into full cardiac arrest due to severe dehydration, kidney failure, and other complications. It was a harsh reminder that the human body can only withstand so much physical trauma before shutting down entirely. Number 1. Broken arm caught on camera. Finally, we look at the most brutal injuries caught on clip during an MMA fight. In the UFC 140 bout between submission specialist Frank Mir and Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira, Mir was on the receiving end of some lethal hammer blows to the back of the head. It seemed like the momentum of the fight was shifting towards Nogueira. However, Mir countered the move by turning Nogueira over and implementing the arm lock and devastatingly broke his arm. Have a look yourself.
He gets the submission.
Oh, he might have it. Trouble. Oh, look at this. Unbelievable.
Trying to finish it.
He's got it.
It is all over.
While mixed martial arts has taken impressive strides to enhance fighter safety over the past decades, this news report has shown that even the most well-regulated bouts can go horrifically awry in the blink of an eye. From gruesome injuries to frightening weight-cutting practices, these stories underscore how MMA remains a moment if we let our guard down. The fight that you're enjoying involves a lot of pain and life risks. So be respectful towards fighters, don't mock them needlessly, and support them wherever possible. That's all for today. Comment below and let us know if there were any obvious devastating MMA moments you think we missed. Make sure to press the like button and share it with other MMA lovers. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Till then, see ya!